In Myanmar, a country of two faces, the military builds 20-lane highways to an empty capital, while ordinary people live in slums built on water. It's a place where golden pagodas are adorned with diamonds and monks are revered, but a brutal junta controls every street. I came here after the coup, when filming became dangerous, to see what life is really like in one of the world's most closed-off nations.
When I was planning my trip to Myanmar, I knew that the trip promised to be risky. A military junta took over the country, putting soldiers everywhere, watching every movement of tourists, and especially journalists. They don't want them to film too much. And there are things to film here. For example, the demonstrations harshly repressed by the forces of law and order. One person I filmed the interview with was simply filming such a protest, for which he was sentenced to 10 years in prison.
They said, you will be, we will take you to somewhere like hell.
I hired a translator who wrote an interesting text describing how they are here. Many shops will be closed. It's better to change dollars at the airport, although the exchange rate's not right. To change dollars, you must have all the notes new and clean. ATMs are not working. There's a curfew from midnight to 4 a.m. But people don't go out anymore after 8 p.m. And usually there are few people on the street. There are also power failures, but there are generators in the good hotels. On my trip through Myanmar, I was accompanied by a guide with an extraordinary name. He said that the Burmese do not have surnames, and the name contains the date of birth in code. Yes, excuse me, can I call you Coco or Nai? Coco Nai. What is the first name and what is the surname? We don't have surnames. Oh, so Kokonai is the first name. Just a long one. Oh, okay, great. Koko means the beloved, or the elder brother. It has two meanings. Nai means success. It translates as successful the beloved. Beloved and successful? Yes. The first letter of my name is K. That means I was born on Monday. Okay. People know on what day they were born. So by the first letter of the name, you can understand on what day you were born. Yes, it's a common system. There are other systems of holidays, or astrology. I introduce to you our driver, Cho An Cho. The first letter is Cho, T, T, T. T is the symbol of Saturday. He was born on Saturday. The guide warned me not to record the military. At the same time, he could not explain why. There on the left are the soldiers. You can't film the soldiers. It's very dangerous. Is it forbidden to film soldiers? Yes, it is. What will happen if I film them? They will take away your camera. That's the first thing. And then, through the embassy, they will send you back to your country. They are afraid that I will buy something because they are watching. I mean, I can't film the policemen. I can't film the ordinary soldiers. They're also working, watching the country, and they don't like that. Where are they? Who are they protecting you from? I don't know. The guide assured me that they are just guards, but the soldiers are all over the city. Not for the safety of the people or tourists, but to keep everyone in fear. In 2021, a coup took place in Myanmar. The army accused the former ruling party of falsifying the results of the 2020 elections. The military junta had no evidence, but the former leader of the country, Aung San Suu Kyi, was arrested. After the coup, Burma's armed forces carried out harsh crackdowns against millions of people. The security forces of the military junta commit mass killings, deliberate arrests, torture, sexual violence, and other abuses. The military also applies a scorched earth strategy by burning the villages in the regions of Magwai, Sagaying, and others. As a result of their air raids and artillery attacks, many local residents were killed and wounded. Entire villages were destroyed. Thousands have been forced to flee. The military takeover sparked peaceful mass protests across the country. When the military and police harshly cracked down on the demonstrations in cities and towns, armed resistance emerged. Opponents of the military boycott companies linked to the junta to avoid funding them. One such company is the producer of Burmese beer. In 2022, bombs were set off near bars that sold it. Since then, these businesses have removed the army's drink from the menu to protect themselves and avoid provoking protesters. Everyone warns that the military and police are everywhere, making it impossible to film freely. The current atmosphere here reminds me of Ashgabat, but if I was able to film in Ashgabat, I hope I can do it here as well. First, I went to the new capital of Myanmar, one of the country's most mysterious cities. It turns out that getting there is not easy. There are guards everywhere, paying special attention even to ordinary tourists. For example, you must pass through numerous checkpoints. This is the checkpoint at the entrance to the capital. Is this another checkpoint? Yes, there's barbed wire. Here on an empty road, there's a checkpoint. Naypyidaw is the capital, and entering it isn't straightforward due to the numerous checkpoints at the city entrance, staffed with military and police. You can't just come here without a reason. They check everyone's documents. They take foreigners' passports. They record all passport data. Entering the capital is a real adventure. It's the most guarded city in Myanmar. And this is what the road to the city looks like. One checkpoint after another, with almost no cars. Friends, I'm in Naypyidaw, the capital of Myanmar. This city is known as a ghost town and the strangest capital in the world. In 2015, Guardian journalists compared Naypyidaw to eerie images of post-apocalyptic US suburbs. The city is 4 times the size of London and 6 times the size of New York. According to official data, its population is 1 million. It became the capital only recently in 2005. The capital was moved from Yangon for some extraordinary reasons. Rumor has it that Myanmar's chief astrologer predicted bloodshed and natural disasters in Yangon. There's also a more logical reason. The city has a strategic location, being closer to the center of the country. Now, let's explore the sights of this ghost town. One of the main attractions of Naypyidaw is this 20-lane road. It's in front of the Parliament building and is closed off. No one drives on it, but military parades are held here. It's essentially a highway for military parades. There is also a common belief that such wide roads, they say they're designed so that a plane can theoretically land on them. Indeed, it looks like a runway. It's very wide, with no wires or obstacles. So just in case if you need to bring a plane here, you can use the private airport located in front of the Parliament. In general, the city is known for its extremely wide, empty roads. There are barely any cars. It reminds us of images from North Korea, though we haven't been there ourselves. Now we're seeing this in Naypyidaw. It's worth noting that the locals really appreciate the wide roads. They admire them and thank the government for building such wide roads, which means no traffic congestion. It's a one-way road that stretches, all the way to the horizon. It has 10 lanes. Really? There are 10 lanes in one direction and 10 in the other. Friends, this is a city where there will never be traffic jams because they built 10-lane roads and hardly anyone lives here. Really? Look, there are 10 lanes. 10 lanes in one direction and 10 in the other. Occasionally, a car might pass by. It looks like an urban dystopia. Look, even the sidewalk is huge. It seems like they got the scale mixed up in the plans. See? A big sidewalk and an empty city. A sidewalk in an empty city. A road in an empty city. There are trees. I was worried they forgot to whitewash the trees, but they did. They should have built a drainage system on this road because there is a serious problem with drainage here. By the way, the roads are concrete and not of good quality. The territory of Naypyidaw consists of spread-out residential villages, clearly divided into zones. In each zone live officials of a certain rank. For instance, there are government buildings, the head of state's residence, the houses of officials and diplomats, a military complex, a designated hotel zone where tourists live. And the interesting thing is that all these zones look very different from one another. For instance, the highest officials in Myanmar live in mansions surrounded by a moat to keep people out. Lower-ranking leaders live in terraced houses and cottages. Meanwhile, employees of the ministries and agencies live in double 3- and 4-story houses, which vary not only in shape but also in color. For example, employees of the Ministry of Health live in buildings with blue roofs, while employees of the Ministry of Agriculture live in houses with green roofs. It's a local dystopian novel of sorts. Here are houses with green roofs, making it clear for each and everyone who lives there. There are several types of housing projects here. One of the most common is a 3-story building. It is small, with one entrance and a balcony on each floor. There's a great rocking bench here. Here's the entryway. There's a fence. You can enter, and there are grills on each door. Apparently, it's quite dangerous here. People decorate their houses with flowers. Take note, by the way, there are leaks. It's not very clean, and the upper floors have no more grills. That's what the residents of the first floor decided. But in general, it's quite clean. And here is the new town, and the jungle begins. If you look to the side, there's nothing there. Everything is very primitive, with clothes hanging out to dry. There are bars everywhere. On the balconies, on the first and second floors, bars everywhere. The entrance also has bars. There's an advertisement, so it's a typical scene of poor Asia. For Chinese standards, these would be basic, super cheap homes. But this is the capital, where different civil servants live. It seems like they could have built something nicer for the civil servants, but they didn't. It looks quite poor. Everything is quite sad and shabby. There are no playgrounds or anything. It's a very wide road, made of concrete, with ditches for drainage. And there's nothing there, just emptiness. We know employees in the Ministry of Agriculture live there because of the green roofs. Ah, mango. They really do have a mango tree growing in their yard. This is what their agriculture looks like. Mango trees grow in their backyards. City planners added places for leisure and entertainment to the map to make the capital less bland and empty. There's a zoo, a spa center with water slides, and a beach on the shore of a man-made lake. Naypyidaw also boasts many golf courses. On weekends, a few people play there, dressed in identical blue polo shirts, as they practice on the perfectly manicured grass. Behind them, a golden pagoda shines in the sunlight. It's a replica of the Shwedagon Pagoda, which is located in Yangon. The old capital, people play golf here, and interestingly, someone follows each golfer around holding an umbrella. There are more servants here than players. The golf club setup is quite fascinating. The green-suited girls, who are advisors, walk alongside with umbrellas and carry the clubs. They're practically personal assistants. Every golfer has someone holding an umbrella. There's a golf club for the respected individuals, and another area, Yangon restaurant, for the less respected individuals. Here, people can drink beer in a more casual atmosphere, using plastic cups, surrounded by garbage, decay, and everything else. It's a glimpse of class division. Since I'm already at the golf club, let me explain how it all works. If you look at the map of the capital of Myanmar, you'll see a vast number of golf courses. There are golf courses wherever you look, seemingly endless golf clubs. Initially, I was surprised and thought, is this the administrative capital or the golf capital of the world? But the reason behind this is that negotiations are conducted during golf games. It seems someone told them the deals, political negotiations, and intrigue must be discussed while playing golf. This is why local officials, businessmen, and elites spend a lot of time on these golf courses to discuss ongoing issues. That's how it is. Obviously, ordinary people can't come here, and the social disparity is glaringly evident. There are servants bringing golf clubs to some individuals. Someone of importance must have arrived, and now they're going to cater to them. To entertain the people, they mistreat elephants right in front of the pagoda. White elephants are kept in the heat, in cramped enclosures, without proper water or care. Finally, there's some life around the pagoda. Previously, as you can imagine, there was no life at all. Here, some beggar boys collect bottles. How much do they earn for the bottles? 70 kyats per bottle. Okay, I got it. Here you find stalls with local street food. Let's see what local street food looks like. The offerings include guts, all of which are pork, intestines, snouts, liver, and other offal. These are skewed for roasting, served with soup, and people dip them in spicy sauce and eat them. It's remarkable to see any life in the capital, as the city is completely dead. Looking at the map, we see that fields, forests, and hills separate at a great distance various ministries, administrative buildings, and offices. It's said the city was intentionally designed this way by city planners to make protests impossible. And if any do arise, they can be easily suppressed. Take, for instance, the 20-lane highway leading to the Parliament building. There's nothing around it. The distances are so vast that even if protesters were to enter near the city and gather somewhere, it would be easy to block them, surround them, shoot them, imprison them, tie them up, and neutralize them in some way. This is hardly a city, as there is no dense urban traffic. The buildings stand far apart, a huge distance from each other. Another surprising aspect is the overwhelming presence of guards, military, and police at every turn. There are cameras and checkpoints everywhere, where they check your documents. I've been here for just an hour, and my documents have been checked at least 5 times. They stop you everywhere, check your documents. You can't film anything, you can't point your camera anywhere. People are very concerned, although I think there's no need to worry, given how closed off the city is. You can't even get into it. By the way, there's an interesting legend that a vast underground railway network runs beneath the city. I highly doubt it though, because digging tunnels over such distances would require a system comparable to London, or New York subway systems, or even bigger. There are tens of kilometers to cover. And where would the tunnels lead? I'm currently in the Pyongyang district, which used to be the largest city in this region. Now, this has become the district of the capital. That is to say, in fact, it all started here. Trains arrive in Pyongyang, and it's rather interesting, this city, which is now more like a district of Naypyidaw. That's because life here remains the same as it was 10, 20, 30 years ago, because the area was left untouched. You still see narrow streets and small houses, and on the other side of the fence are shanty towns. I'm going to try to go inside and take a look. Previously, there were villages and small towns here, surrounded by rice fields and hills. When they decided to build the capital here, they evicted the villagers that were in the way and removed the people from there. On the vast rice fields, spanning tens of thousands of hectares, they built a new city, a new capital. About 100,000 people live in the city of Myanmar today, which is now part of Naypyidaw and one of its districts. Life here remains as it was before it became the capital. At some point in time, the whole of Naypyidaw used to be composed of these small villages, and now Naypyidaw has emerged in their place, a strange monumental city in the middle of a desperately poor country. Here you can see remnants of the old life, a typical provincial scene of poverty in Myanmar. This is what it looks like. It looks very much like rural Myanmar. Here there may be some factories. This might be someone's home. Someone sleeps here. A sewing machine. They work and sleep here. Look, here are the shops. Everyone is very friendly, despite the poverty. Here they... No, thank you. They sell cigarettes and simple medicines, some powders, and each house is similar. They have a shop in the front and live right there. Although this district is part of Naypyidaw, officials, businessmen, and visitors to the golf courses don't come here. Here is a completely unnoticed life. And in the capital of Myanmar, this social disparity, this is a completely impoverished population that is barely surviving, alongside the local elites who cling to power. They build new capitals, roads, and these crazy projects that might remind you of something, because in some countries, we see these kinds of excesses occasionally. 5 kilometers away from this dreadful poverty are 20-lane roads, endless monuments, concrete lilies, palaces, extravagant parliaments, and plenty of military personnel guarding everything. By the way, these vast distances where you find ministries, palaces, and wide roads are necessary to keep the riffraff out. Without a personal car, you can't move around Naypyidaw's administrative area. There's no adequate public transport. Employees are brought in on buses, but you can't simply walk anywhere. Hello, here's our guest, and he wants to know about our country. What do you do? What is your job? Is this your home? Do you work somewhere? Yes, nearby. Where exactly? I have my own small coffee shop. I used to work in Yangon, then I had to move here. So you have your own business? Who are your customers? Mostly people from the train station. Do you only live in your neighborhood? Do you go downtown to all those wide streets in Naypyidaw? My children go there to pray, but I don't. Pray? Yeah. How much do you earn per month? Do you make food, and how much do you earn? It varies. Before, when there were customers in the restaurant, I earned 200,000, 300,000 kyats, but now it's hard to earn money. Do you have many customers? Why are there so many soldiers in the city? They celebrated New Year's here. There were lots of people in the city. Yes, a lot. The authorities were afraid something might happen. They sent the military to help, so they must have feared attacks. Why are there so many checkpoints in the city? After the festivities, there are many drunk people on the streets and troublemakers that need to be removed. How long have you lived here? I'm 79 years old. I've lived here for the last 10 years. Right, in this spot? Yeah, right here. How long have you lived here? I've lived here for 10 years. And where did you live before? Near here, close to the school. Then I had to leave there, and we all settled here. I worked as a cook there, and now work near the train station. He'd like to know what was here before the city was built. There were forests, mountains, fields, hills, and rocks. They tore it all down and built the capital here. She said they tore it all down and built the capital here. Many people here are from Yangon. Do you like what they built? Yeah, it's fine. Has your life changed in any way? Has it become better or worse after they built the capital here? It has affected us. Life here has become more difficult. Everything that was there has been moved here. It's chaos. Chaos? But maybe you're used to it at your age. No choice but to accept it and adjust. Let's take a look at a house a bit further from the new capital to understand the quality of life here. This is what the kitchen looks like. They don't even cook with gas. They cook with firewood, wood chips, and rubbish. Does this belong to a poor person? This looks like a very poor house, no? It's an ordinary house? Most people live like this? Yes, they have everything. Fans, electricity, everything is there. I see. They have it all. There's a fan standing there on the floor. Yes. There are beds, an engine, everything you need. It's called living in nature. The amenities are outside. And there are other houses there, right? What I thought was shanty towns and poverty turned out to be normal housing. Here's the bathroom. We arrived at the bathroom. Amenities are outside. Further down, there are houses built a long time ago for railway workers. According to the locals in remote places similar to this town, pro-military and opposition groups lived side by side. There are often clashes between them. You could say there's a civil war. Locals mentioned that such groups have underground bases where they store weapons. It's not surprising given how people live and what they earn. Questions for the authorities arise. Hello, what do you do for a living? He doesn't work. That's due to health problems. How old are you? 51. Why did he retire so early? Because of his health. He is disabled. Disabled? Where did you work before? On the railways. And how much is your pension? He asks how much you receive in pension. 80,000. That's his pension. Is that enough to live on? Of course not. I also have to help out. His wife helps him. His wife sews. Would you say that you live in a house like this and consider yourself poor, middle class, or rich? How do you perceive it? Middle class. So you think you live well? So you're not poor? No, I'm not. Would you like anything more? I'm satisfied with everything. So you think you're middle class? Are there people who live worse? Yes, definitely. Really? Yes, there are. What could be worse? Your house is made of 3 sticks, a sheet of metal, and a TV. You have nothing. You live on the street, on the ground. What could be worse? How do poor people live? Some people don't have a house. They have nowhere to go. So those who have nothing are poor, and those who have some kind of roof over their heads are already middle class? Yes. Our people believe that borrowing money can also borrow their misfortunes and hardships. This is how the middle class lives in Myanmar. Here's what the house looks like. Here's the bed. Instead of a wardrobe, the clothes hang on these sticks. Here's a table, a TV, and here they cook. Here they wash the dishes. This is the whole house, right? So it's like one room, yeah? Another characteristic that everyone is cautious about discussing politics. No one says anything, criticizes anything, or complains. Everyone tenses up when they see someone with a camera and asks where the footage will go. They say everything's okay. They say they're happy, but you can sense they're scared. And they're actually very scared. Every negative word is forbidden. Complaints are forbidden. Especially anything related to politics is strictly forbidden, and the translator even refuses to translate them. By the way, the locals don't like the new capital very much. Many people come here from Yangon to work. It takes 5 hours by car or bus, or 9 hours by train. They come, work for a few days, and then go back home on the weekends, because living in this city isn't very comfortable. Here's the train station. If someone wants to come here by train, keep in mind that the trains are old. By the way, to the right, you can see police, barbed wire, sandbags, and machine gunners. Military is everywhere. They're already watching what I'm filming here. Luckily, my camera is small, so they don't realize I'm taking video. You can travel from Yangon to Naypyidaw through fields and hills. The roads are usually empty, but the locals say there have been many traffic accidents here, even calling it the Highway of Death. The road to the new capital was likely built in a rush, neglecting safety measures. You can see how the main highway of the country, from Yangon to Mandalay, is built with concrete slabs, and little else. First of all, note that they forgot to add lighting. There are no lights or reflectors. Just the road, a hard shoulder, and nothing else. I can't understand how drivers navigate the road at night. Seeing the width of the road, there's no drainage here. They didn't construct proper drainage. So, when it rains, water simply runs off into the ground. There aren't any designed ditches or gutters. They haven't done much to differentiate levels. There are no barriers, too. This road crosses fields and pastures, and sometimes animals cross the road freely. You know, a car is speeding by at 100 kilometers per hour, and here comes a cow leisurely crossing the road, since there's a village on one side and another on the other. The locals aren't concerned about the cars zooming by. It's clear why this road is called the Highway of Death. One of the reasons for the high mortality rate is the way people drive around here. Here's a typical scene: a motorbike with a sidecar carrying how many people? There are children, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 people. They're in the same sidecar. It's not even clear how it manages to move. There they go. There are tuk-tuks and trucks filled with people. I haven't seen a single person. Well, almost nobody wears helmets here. Talking about motorbikes, you see women with children on overloaded bikes. So even a slight dangerous maneuver can lead to severe accidents. Interestingly, the only people who wear helmets are the young and progressive, the fashionable youth. There's a wide variety of transport. Because of the heat, if you park at a restaurant, they'll likely cover your windshield with a branded sunshade. As you can see, almost all the vehicles are old Japanese imports, many with right-hand drive. It reminds me of how in Russia, during the 90s and 2000s, we bought Japanese cars. Run-down junk, in fact. Yes, sometimes you're lucky. Look, ooh, a BMW X7, probably a general's car, and I don't dare film it. I'll record it now, then problems will begin. Well, there are a few BMW X7s. My God, I better stay away. I'm sticking to my beloved old Toyotas. They're all worn out. And as you can see, most vehicles are Korean and Japanese, which are good cars since I'm in front of an expensive restaurant. Here's a popular method of transportation: a Mitsubishi truck without any seats or anything, just filled with people and things. Sometimes they hang their belongings all over the truck. How many people are in this truck? 11 people fit in it, but it's unsafe. I get it. What? They come from another city. They're traveling to Yangon. The boys are on their way to Yangon on this truck, traveling down the highway. Look, this is practical for long trips, as they eat cautiously They carry a trash bin for their waste. Wait, that's not a trash bin. It's for shoes. I thought it was a trash can, but it's for shoes. Unbelievable. How long does it take to get there?
Russia. You know Russia?
Yes,
Oh, you speak English?
a little bit.
Okay, okay.
What are they selling roadside? What is this? I don't understand what it is. It's something rare. You can buy beer here. And there's a canteen. It's marinated fish for salad. Marinated fish for salad? Yes, it has onions and peanut butter in it. I thought it might be pyrotechnics, that they ignite it. Myanmar has a long and complex history. The first civilization settled in the country over 500 years BC, but Myanmar emerged as a fully fledged state only in the 18th century. Myanmar is rich in ethnic diversity. People mainly came here from the territories of modern-day Tibet and China. Today, 135 ethnic groups live in Myanmar. The largest are the Burmese, Shan, Kayan, Indians, and Chinese. Incidentally, the country was previously called Burma, named after the dominant ethnic group, the Bamar. However, in 1989, the military junta unexpectedly changed the name to Myanmar. For those living in the country, nothing changed. In Burmese, Myanmar is just a more official version of Burma. By the way, the junta is still ruling Myanmar now. The military took power in 1962. In 2011, the junta was dissolved, and power shifted to a civilian government. 4 years later, the opposition won elections. There were even attempts to build a full democracy. Riding the wave, the opposition also won the 2020 elections. But the military couldn't withstand it and staged a coup. Power shifted back to the junta. The military was supposed to step down in February and hold elections, but after 2 years of taking power, the junta extended the state of emergency in the country and postponed their departure until August. As a result, many places in Myanmar are off limits today. Few places allow free filming, and it's best not to stand out from an average tourist, because journalists are not well liked here. It's not just journalists, they're weary of anyone who wants to film. As in the capital, I had to film covertly in some parts of Yangon. Here, the park situation is unclear, because everything is blocked off. There's barbed wire everywhere. The problem is that there are police officers all around, and you can't film them. So it's unclear what you can film if they're everywhere. And why are there so many police officers here? They're providing security. They monitor the park. Sometimes there are drunk people, for example, who disturb others. They keep an eye on these people. You can't enter the park? Yes, it's forbidden. There are armed police along the park. You can only walk along the road. It looks like a policeman is having a date with a girl. He's trying to find out something from her. They allowed us to walk on the sidewalk, so we're walking like ordinary people, using the sidewalk. Everyone else walks on the road. There are fortifications, barbed wire, and everything is closed off. There is security, police, and military everywhere. Filming them is supposed to be prohibited. However, with so many of them around, it seems like you can't film anything. You can see police officers stationed along the fence. They are all armed. Each one carries a firearm. It's a strange feeling walking through the center because it's a public holiday, yet there are huge numbers of military personnel and police officers. They're literally everywhere. Given the warnings about filming the police, it's best to be cautious. At best, they might just make me delete the footage, but if I'm unlucky, it could also lead to getting caught up in the police stations for a long time. It's difficult to film, and I'm genuinely nervous about lifting the camera, as they have lookout points on rooftops. There are officers at every corner and along fences. There's an incredible number of armed law officers, creating a tense atmosphere. I accidentally set up my camera in front of a police or military station with canopies, sandbags, and gun points lined with barbed wire. Here's what the main train station looks like. Where do the trains go from here? You can take a train to Mandalay and other cities. So you can go to Mandalay by train. Yes, you can. How long does it take? How many hours? Yes, how many hours? A minimum of 10 hours. So most people travel by car? Yes, it's easier and faster to travel by car. This is called the Central Station, the railway station of Yangon. It was a beautiful building that was started in 1897 and completed in 1911. During World War II, there were issues with the station, and in 1943, the Japanese heavily damaged the building. So instead of renovating, they decided to build a new one. The most skilled architect, Mr. Ultin, created a beautiful style and lovely architecture. They completed the new building in 1954, around June. So this is what the railway station looks like. A luxurious building, but it's partially abandoned. Filming isn't easy here too. When I asked the guard at the entrance if I could film, he said, "Maybe you should ask the station manager for permission." I found the station manager, asked the station manager, and he said something like, "Personally, I'm not against it. The building is actually beautiful, but you better talk to the general who guards the building and get his permission." I went to the general. I wasn't sure if it's the right person, as he came out in a skirt and t-shirt and seemed to have just woken up. He said I could film, but warned me not to capture any military posts, as there were many soldiers around the station and lots of security measures, fortifications, and so on. He said it's important not to film military, but he doesn't really care if I film architecture. The building has two sections. One sector and another sector on either side with symmetry. In the middle, there are two green guard posts. These are the military that I can't film. While it might be impossible to secretly film some sites, recording protesters is strictly forbidden. It can lead to a 10-year prison sentence. This happened to director and filmmaker Tou Kabota, whom I met in Japan.
I'm a documentary filmmaker. I started filmmaking like 9 years ago when I was in college. That was the point where I met some refugees from Myanmar living in Japan. So that's the point I started filmmaking. So basically this time I arrived in Myanmar, Yangon, the biggest city of the country last year, just July.
This July?
Last July, yeah. Then I spent some weeks filming something. I cannot clarify yet, because there's someone still in the country. And then I tried to stay away from the protests, political protests. I knew that is happening. It's called flash mob protests. The young people gather on the spot. They secretly gather. They just, do the protest for less than a minute, just scatter, they run away. So this is happening like every day. So I thought I needed to go there and film the protest. It's July 30th. Then I was filming from the behind, around 50 meters behind from the protesters. After that, I tried to move back as just a normal tourist. Then at that point, there was a car approaching from behind, and as soon as I noticed there's a car, there's two guys rushed out from the car, pointed the gun to me, just screamed something. They just raised my hand, and they just cuffed me, and they took me to the police station. During the investigation, they didn't do anything violent to me. But if I were a Burmese journalist, I would be beaten, severely tortured. Many people died. Some journalists were died during the interrogation because of the torture. But they didn't do that to me because I have a Japanese passport. But the problem is that So I thought I could be released much earlier, but the thing is that they found my films. I made some films about Rohingya previously. My film was posted on like Burmese media a couple years ago. Then that makes them mad. They said, "You will be, we will take you to somewhere like hell." They told me that. Then I spent like 4 nights at like terrible detention cell in the police station, where like more than 20 people were being packed in a small, like very tiny room, and it was very unhygienic. It was a terrible experience. After the 4 nights, I was taken to the insane prison in Yangon. It's an infamous cell. It's an infamous prison.
In October 2022, the court sentenced Kabota to 7 years in prison for inciting rebellion and spreading false information on the internet. The director received an additional 3 years in prison at a second trial for entering the country on a tourist visa from Thailand. According to the authorities, he should have obtained a journalist visa.
They picked up the evidence. So after they catch me, after they call me, they forced me to bring to take this banner. So the protesters were using a banner. So there were 3 other protesters had been caught by the police and the military. And altogether, we were told by the military guys to hold that banner so that they get evidence that I was part of the protest, which I was not. But luckily, I could have been released after 4 months in jail.
Who helped you? How?
There was the Japanese government pressure on them. The Myanmar Junta released 3 other foreigners altogether. So they try to show them like they're giving amnesty. They're kind. They're trying to propaganda that they are doing something good, trying to get more support from international community.
In the 19th century, Myanmar became a British colony. They did not take control quickly. It took the British 3 wars to gain control. The UK saw Myanmar as a market for profitable trade with China. In 1886, the British made Burma a province of India. This development led to resistance to British rule, which continued in the Northern Territories until 1890. The British managed to stop the clashes by destroying entire villages. Myanmar separated from India at the start of World War II, becoming a separate colony, but not yet independent from full British rule. In 1942, Myanmar was conquered by new colonizers when the Japanese entered the country. They stayed until the end of World War II in 1945. Only in 1948 did Myanmar gain independence and begin to develop as an independent state. The British built buildings in Burma in their own style, featuring marble floors, carvings, and limestone lions as symbols of wealth and power. Now, the walls are covered in moss, rusted pipes, and peeling paint. We are now in the colonial center of Yangon, which looks amazing due to the beautiful buildings built by the British. Much of the colonial architecture is now abandoned. Here's another building. You can see its entrance. There's this cover. It used to be a grand house, but now it's overgrown with bushes and trees. What used to be here? A bank, a colonial building. It was 100 years ago. But they abandoned it, right? They tried to develop it by themselves and with the help of some organizations. We can't reconstruct it, only they can do it with their specialists. So now they wait for the budget. And what about all this? Are all these old buildings too? Yes, these used to be banks. But now some people live there. And there are guards. Refurbishment is yet to begin. Here, you can see the condition of the historical buildings in the center. In some areas, they look well maintained, but in others, they are in ruins, where trees and bushes are growing through, and everything is full of wires and cables. It's all very sad. The relocation of the capital from Yangon played a role in the decline of the colonial heritage of the city. Previously, many colonial buildings housed various government agencies and were at least somewhat maintained. Now, with the officials moving to the capital, Yangon has lost its status and function as a capital. These buildings are empty and they are not maintained. Additionally, the sanctions have played a role. When there was relief from previous sanctions on Myanmar, many international companies chose to open offices in Yangon. They rented beautiful colonial mansions and palaces, and even wanted to invest in their restoration and maintenance. Everyone wanted an office in a prestigious building. But after sanctions were reimposed on Myanmar and even increased, international businesses and funds are no longer a possibility. So, many buildings are waiting for better times, and we can only hope they survive until then, and they can be saved. In the center of Yangon stands a luxurious building, the Sofar Building. It was built in 1908. Isaac Sofar, one of the brothers who ended up in this beautiful country as children and did quite well in the late 19th century. They were successful in trade of alcohol and delicacies. They also decided to build a real palace in the center of the city. They spared no expense. When it opened in 1906, the building was one of the most prestigious and fashionable commercial buildings. Many companies dreamed of having offices there. Banks and other trading companies opened offices there. The building had an electric elevator, which was a novelty at the time. It was very rare. Everything was luxurious and interesting. But now, the former grandeur is reflected in the ruins. Right. Military vehicles are approaching. It's probably best to stop filming now. The military vehicles have passed, so filming can continue. People who live there don't want to reveal their living conditions. People are hesitant to talk on camera. And when asked for comments or interviews, they say, no, no, no. We don't want to have any problems. They often repeat, "You understand the situation in the country." This phrase is most often used when they refuse you to film in Myanmar. Now let's walk through the building. It houses very poor Burmese who can't afford decent housing. Several people live in half-ruined rooms. Rubbish and bottles are scattered on the floor, while laundry hangs in the narrow corridors. Inside you can find remnants of an old staircase. Original tiles still line the floors throughout the building. This is the beginning of the corridors. Welcome to what was once the most luxurious building in Yangon. There is an elevator shaft. This was home to the first elevator in Yangon. All that remains is a shaft, overloaded with rubbish. Look at this. That's all that remains of the city's first electric lift. There are some shopping spots. It's not too clear what they are. Some spaces are being rented out. And this is where the people live, in these once luxurious corridors. It's someone's home here. Unfortunately, I couldn't talk to any of them. If anything is restored and looks decent, it's likely a government entity. There is the Ministry of Water Transport, and this is the Agricultural Bank. The building looks good. There's a small street cafe. Here's a parking lot, and here's another cafe. Walking around here with a tripod, I constantly feel like I might be stopped by the police, because journalists here are treated with understandable suspicion. I need to avoid attention and stick to the back alleys. Here's another narrow alleyway with some sort of trade going on. These alleys are a real escape for someone with equipment, as there are no patrols or soldiers here. And hopefully, no one will take notice of me. It's amazing how some houses are modern while others are colonial with rich decor. They're all packed tightly together. This center of Yangon is very dense. Take a look at the tangled mess of wires, a common sight in Asia. Here's an old cinema. I'm not sure if it's operational. What happened to the cinema? Why is it closed? It's closed because of the holiday. So it does work normally. Yes, it does. It looks abandoned, doesn't it? No. It actually works? Amazing. They show interesting films. I was wrong. It's not an abandoned cinema. It still works. It's just closed today because of the holiday. But it does look derelict. Some old buildings are still well maintained. For example, the Strand Hotel, which opened in 1901, was one of the most luxurious in the British Empire during the colonial period. During World War II, Japanese troops occupied it for a while. Now, the hotel is a popular choice for tourists. The hotel, called the Strand, is the oldest in Yangon. It was opened in 1901. It was the most expensive, most luxurious, and best hotel at the time. It didn't have a pool initially, but one was built 2 years ago. However, due to COVID-19, the hotel was temporarily closed. So now it's still shut. Renovations are ongoing, so they can't open it just yet. It's one of the most well-known brands globally. It's a 5-star hotel, similar like Raffles Hotel from Singapore is very popular. It's just as famous. During World War II, in 1947, the state government took it over and opened their offices. Later, they regained independence and reopened the hotel. That's the Australian embassy, the yellow building next door. It's also part of the hotel. When the hotel reopened, they added new buildings for accommodations. And they were also constructing a hall for weddings. Oh, so like an event hall. They also opened souvenir shops and the most famous gallery in the hotel. The post office building built by the British is also well preserved. The post office is nice, but closed. In Rangoon, the British built not only beautiful buildings, but also in our country, there are temperatures of 35 degrees above or even 40. It's hot. So they intentionally made the south wind coming from the sea. That's why to let the wind in, to keep it cool, they made many arches. And if we go inside, we will see the high ceilings. That's because of the heat too. They built it on purpose. They let in fresh air. They were made that way on purpose. The houses are very beautiful. They are red. It's a symbol of love. You can see them from afar. However, ordinary citizens use bags instead of mailboxes. Of course, these streets in Yangon, where every balcony has railings, rags, dishes. Look at how it all looks. It's just something unbelievable. A characteristic feature is the bags. Instead of mailboxes, there are mail bags. Here, for example, someone put a newspaper in there. Look, you can take it up directly from your home. The British Embassy is another reminder of the colonial past, but now it's not a symbol of the empire's greatness, but a place of guarded territory. Barbed wire, different fences, just in case. The guys protected themselves from possible attacks. But in reality, virtually all the buildings, not only embassies, but also government entities in Yangon are all protected by a large number of barbed wire fences. And you can see here on the left, there is a fire point full of bags in case the military has to protect it. I don't quite understand how often the military and police shoot the attackers, but the number of observation points and all the rest of it in this city, of course, is huge, demonstrating an uneasy atmosphere in Myanmar now. Children were sitting in a broken-down escalator in the passageway. I decided to ask what they want to do in the future. What do they want to do when they finish school? It depends on their qualifications. What does this lady want to be when she grows up? She hasn't thought about it yet. All right. Do they want to live in Myanmar, or is she going to work in another country? She wants to stay here. We have finally arrived at the city's main attraction. The Shwedagon Pagoda is often called the Golden Heart of Myanmar. The name not only has a metaphorical, but also a literal meaning. It's almost completely covered with solid gold. What's more, on top of the pagoda is a fine peak full of diamonds and other precious stones. The Shwedagon Pagoda is 2,600 years old. It's the oldest pagoda in Myanmar. People come and pray here. It's different people, different tribes, and different nationalities. We have many states and regions in Myanmar, and people from different cities from all over the country come to devote themselves to prayer, rest, and art. All the people are from here. Some come here mainly for the Shwedagon Pagoda, for the pilgrimage. They do not only come to see the Buddha statues, but also to pursue a career in architecture. There is architecture of different periods here. There are Buddha statues, temples, and pagodas from the 13th century, 15th century, and 18th century, because we've had different queens and kings, and you can see different designs. We have different states, different tribes, different people from different backgrounds who built pagodas in different ways. And our pagoda is like matryoshka. If we look at it from here, it is very beautiful. And the complex is called a pagoda. And we also have the word stupa. This assumes the shape of a triangle. They usually contain relics of Buddha. Here at Shwedagon Pagoda, there is Buddha's hair. I compare it with matryoshka because there are other stupas made of iron or brick, built with many layers. There are different pagodas. Here, above the Shwedagon Pagoda, is a large diamond. It is 76 carats. It's right at the top there, where we received it from India. And we get the tar from eastern Myanmar. Lacquer trees grow there, which in botany are called Toxicodendron vernificulum. We buy them there, and then we lacquer it. And when it dries, when the lacquer is ready, we cover it with solid gold. There are places where birthdays are listed. For example, I was born on Monday, and there it says Monday, Kona, i.e., a place for people who are born on Monday. You have to go there and then find a place to put a glass of water. I can pour the water on Buddha once more than my current age. I am 37 plus 1, so I have to pour the water 38 times. Then I can make a wish, and not just one, many wishes. And so people go around there, and when they walk, to do it correctly, people need to walk in a clockwise direction. The monks also come, because it is cool in the afternoon, and it is not so hot, like during the day. So the monks walk and speak to people, sometimes in English if they're talking to foreigners. They say a prayer. The monks come, and they live around the Shwedagon Pagoda. It is a pilgrimage they come for. Myanmar's calendar is extraordinary. For example, they have 8 days of the week because Wednesday is divided in half. Another peculiar feature of Myanmar is the New Year. They celebrate in April. The festivities last 4 to 5 days. This year, it will be held from 13th to 16th of April. This is the hottest season in Myanmar. A special New Year tradition is the Thingyan Water Festival. The locals believe that with the water, all sins and misfortunes are washed away. That's why during the festival, water battles break out in the streets. Everyone tries to attack each other with water bombs or throw water on each other. This year, there will be the first major festival after the pandemic and change of power. The government holds a big party to attract more people. It will do everything to give the impression that the situation in the country has been normalized. I could not miss this opportunity and took part in the water battle. How should you pour the water? Take a bucket of water with ice so that the water is cold. Then we take a cup and we look for a biker. And we have to throw it right in his face. Just like that. Right in the face. What a skill. No. No, I have a camera. Come on, go ahead. Walk on, don't touch it. Here the boys are pouring water on themselves. But you could say that some people are not very happy about it. Yes, because... Pour it over them. Yes. You silly sausage. The water is dirty. How do I tell him to pour clean water? It's because of the ice. They sold ice cream there, and then, from the color, it looks like his whole family had bathed there. Can water be poured on monks? No, you can't. You can't? Monks, pregnant women, the elderly, and the disabled are all excluded from this fun. And I'm not? Yes, tourists aren't. The Burmese have a national custom. They love to chew betel leaves, in which they wrap tobacco, lime, and other ingredients. Locals do not consider this custom harmful, but in reality, all ingredients are carcinogenic and cause cancer. But what's most striking is that the betel turns their mouths red. Yes, everyone chews it up and then spits out red. That's what these leaves are. It's a medicine. It helps with coughs. You can swallow them. Tastes like ginger. It's like nicotine, like cigarettes. Yes, there's tobacco there. Honey, pineapple, rice moonshine. Rice moonshine? Yes. Yes, it is like beer. Yes, he says it tastes like beer. Of course, I have not eaten the leaves. Instead, I went to a restaurant. To pay at these local restaurants, make sure to exchange dollars for kyats. You can exchange money at the airport exit with some lady. Oh wow, look how money is all prepared in piles. A few words on currency exchange. The black market thrives here. As you can understand, it's not that simple with dollars. Everyone wants new banknotes, not crumpled ones. Right at the airport, you're attacked by the money exchangers. Before you leave the airport, they are more or less legal, and the exchange rate is not very good. 2,200 to the dollar. But if they leave the airport, you are approached by different beautiful women with huge bags. The bags are full of money, and the exchange rate is then 2,700. Do you want a more official exchange rate? I'm in the hotel, and it's 2,095. In other words, the best thing to do is exchange money with the illegal guys at the airport exit. However, if you decide to pay in dollars, please note that they only accept notes in perfect condition, clean and wrinkle-free. You're checking every note, aren't you? In case it has a tiny wrinkle, they will no longer accept it. They will have a different exchange rate. So they'll still accept it, but with another exchange rate. Yes, a much lower one. And they may not accept it. Even if I fold it in half, they'll no longer accept it? No. Myanmar is the country of the newest dollars. The guide showed me how to spot banknotes that will not be accepted anywhere, because there's a stamp on this banknote. Let's see. And here? Someone left a small mark on this one. Here's the most interesting one. There's simply a small dot here. Here as well. What's wrong? It's a bit crumpled. And here someone turned a corner. And that is why this money is not accepted in Myanmar. I don't know of any other country like this, where they look at the dollar so closely. I came to a hotel for lunch, and the hotel is completely empty. There is not a single person here, and this is what a completely empty restaurant looks like in the middle of lunch. They don't even put out any food. And this is what the internal revenue stamps on each check look like. This means they paid the tax on this transaction. Myanmar must have a big problem with collecting taxes. So they bring the bill over with these stamps, and any visitor at once sees if they have paid taxes for this transaction, and if not, you can complain. There are also problems here with electricity and public transport. A peculiar feature of Yangon streets are giant electricity generators, as they turn off the electricity all the time here so that the air conditioning continues to work, especially in commercial spaces. They have these transformers near the buildings, so it seems each place has their own generator. Here's the generator. Near each shop, there is a large generator. Actually, another indicator of poverty is a large number of cyclists. I came here from Thailand, and in Thailand, only a madman would cycle in this weather, because it's 40 degrees hot. It is sunny, and cycling on the boiling asphalt, where the temperature must be about 50, is impossible. But here in Yangon, many people get around on bicycles, and there are only a few cars. And they get around on bicycles not because they have seen my videos and have become progressive urban planners, but because they simply don't have money. People are getting around on bicycles in this heat. It's terrible, because I just stand near the street. I feel sick. Maybe they're used to it. There are many bicycles. Here's an elderly on a bike. And again, as a peculiar feature of today's Yangon, is a large number of street traders who sell food for tiny prices. They're cooking something. Nobody tells them to leave, even though we are in the very center of the city. People survive as best they can. Of course, the number of cyclists is not the only thing that shows poverty. Walking through the streets of Myanmar, one realizes how badly people live here. According to the World Bank, around 40% of Myanmar's population will be below the poverty line by 2022. The junta began foreign exchange transactions, causing chaos in the export and import markets. In fact, people do not live but survive here. Many locals complain they no longer have savings. Some have sold their motorbikes just so they can have some money for food. Now I'm at the river, and on the other side of the river is the Dala district. They say it's one of the poorest neighborhoods in Yangon. Let's go there and see what happens there. But it's important to note that despite the poverty, despite the misery, people here are positive. They smile. They are friendly. Of course, you understand that behind their smiles are numerous social problems. But that is where the country found itself, thanks to wise government and these geopolitical intrigues. We have arrived in the city of Dala. The population of the town is 300,000. About 40,000 go to school. There are different people: Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists. They all speak Burmese language. We came to see the fisherman's village. Of course, I asked the inhabitants what they do for a living and whether they like this life. What do they do? He wants to know what you do for a living. Fishing. Fishing? All of your family? And what do you do with the fish afterwards? Do you sell it? Yes, of course. Where? Nearby. In the shop? No. At the market. At the fish market? No, there is a special place. A special place? And how much do you earn from selling fish? Just a little. How little is a little? About 10 to 15,000 kyats per day? Sometimes it is nothing. Nothing at all? So, zero in other words? And this money is enough to live on? For the time being, there is money. And then we borrow. How many children do you have? We have 6 children. 3 sons and 3 daughters. 3 boys and 3 girls. Are you happy living the way you live? Your living conditions? Of course not. Well, what can you do? We don't have any other options, do we? People's lives in Dala revolve around the river. Most of the inhabitants fish and sell their catch at the local market. Some build boats. Children even go to school on boats. How much money do they need to be happy? I don't even know. If it is for our needs, I have a family, my wife, my daughter, and myself. I think if it was to meet all needs, it would be about 700,000 kyats per month, because there are 2 other people at home besides me. That's for all your needs. This is the minimum. Well, if you work it out for yourselves, you need money for everything. For example, I am working, and I also have a daughter who goes to school. And is the school far away? Yes, almost 7 kilometers from here. Yes, and these 7 kilometers are crossed by boat. Would you like to go somewhere? Which country would you like to visit? I would like to go to England. England and so on. Ah, well, what about Russia? Would you like to go to Russia, to Moscow? Yes, Russia is a beautiful country. Why not? I would gladly go there. The capital of Russia is Moscow, but it is far away. I have not been to Thailand yet. Where do you get your news from? As you can see, there are no great opportunities here, but we find out everything on the phone. You won't believe it, but you get the feeling that you're not in this world. Everything happens around you, and you hear about it from friends and acquaintances. What do you think about what is happening in the country? What can I say? Technically speaking, everything has remained the same. We work the same, we earn the same money, but the prices have become too high, which is something I don't like. Everything else is fine. What else is going on in Myanmar in terms of politics? Are they happy with everything? That power has shifted? Aren't they going to talk about it? It's best not to. Oh, okay, I see. So the only thing you don't like are the prices. Well, yes, for example, fruits and vegetables. It is difficult to buy a lot of them, although he'd like to. He wanted to ask him about politics, but I told him he'd better not. Yes, of course. I explained that this would create problems for these people. Obviously, yes. I understand you perfectly well in this respect. I hope you do too. Yes, of course. It is better to talk about something else. Surely. We are ordinary people. We don't want to get into trouble. Here, the houses look more like barracks. This is the bedroom. There are some things lying around here. Everything is very compact. I don't know if you can see or not, but the whole floor is made of rotten boards, and nothing protects it from the wind or insects. This is what these houses are like. The misery is terrible. There are some prosperous houses. They are luxurious for the local population, but most of them are wooden barns made of planks, on stakes. There are no windows or anything, protected by some kind of oilcloth at most. Huge families live in these crooked little houses. Here you can see there are 2 small houses. A child is playing with dirt in the playground. There are adults sleeping on a mat. There's one house on top of the other, and there are lots of people. This is what they look like. There's a whole street of them. One, the other, they're glued together. This is what Yangon shanty towns look like. There are more prosperous districts in Dala. Not only fishermen, but also businessmen live here according to the locals. Here you can see what the houses look like. Most of them are barns. Yes, in this case, people live here. But it looks like chicken barns, made of old wooden planks. There is terrible misery. People mostly do trading of some sort here. You can meet everyone you know here. So there are different people here? Yeah, correct. For example, there are unloaders, bricklayers, businessmen, salesmen, well, everyone. You sell coconuts? Do you sell coconuts? Yes, I sell coconuts. I pick them up from the trees, from the palm trees. buy them and resell them later on. So you're like a supplier. Yes, you can call it that. Do you sell in bulk? Do you have customers? Yes, they buy them from us and resell them. Oh, so there are many resellers. Yeah. Do you earn a lot from coconuts? Well, I don't know. Approximately how much? Frankly, I don't work alone. My son-in-law, my daughter's husband helps me. He is the one who does everything here, I can say that. He's the one looking after it all. And I only sell them. And then I report back to him. How many people live here? There are 4 of us. We all live together. Is it comfortable to live like this? Yeah, it's comfortable. We have all the amenities here. 4 people. Can I come in to see your house? Can we come in? Yes, come in. They actually have a room, a small basement, a kitchen, an accumulator, which they get electricity with, and that's it. That is to say, at night, they put mattresses on this oilcloth and go to sleep. Here you can see the houses, because all people live more or less the same. Here's a bamboo house. It only has 1 room, with mattresses on the floor, people asleep near the dishes. There is 1 small room. There are 7 children. They're all there. Some things don't fit here. Again, look, it's house number 121. In other words, they're not some random huts, but it's a street. There are houses here. People take care of their houses in different ways. Some have a cleaner house. That is, here is house number 123. It is clean and aesthetic. Here is a welcoming cover. And someone simply has dirt and filth. But as far as poverty is concerned, all these houses are the same. And here, they are throwing water on everyone. At the same time, around these houses, there is life. There are bridges. Again, I have a lot of questions. See, everything is filled with rubbish here. And right here, among the rubbish and rotten things are children playing. That doesn't surprise anyone. I think they could at least remove all the rubbish in front of their houses. Without it, it would be much more pleasant, but no. People prefer to sit in armchairs and watch this rubbish. Here in the village, there are several lakes that, at first glance, look all the same, but have a different function. For example, in one they wash the dishes, in the other they bathe themselves. And this lake is for drinking water. When I asked the locals what's so special about this water, because it doesn't look drinkable, they said to me, "Don't you understand? Look at these wonderful lotuses. The lotuses grow only in clean water. This is why this water can be used for drinking." But it seems to me that it's not the lotuses that only grow in clean water, but these lotus flowers filter the water here and make it drinkable. I wouldn't drink from here, but anyway, the locals arrive here on bicycles with canisters and carry this water, and then use it for what they need. There are lots of monks in Myanmar. They are well respected, and everyone tries to help them if they can. Even if the family is as poor as Dala's families, donating something for the monk is a tradition. This is the ceremony of feeding the monks. There is a procession from these people, from the village near the road, and they give them what they can. Give some juice, others give them rice. Well, it is quite interesting. Here come the monks. Here is a man with a sack of rice and other gifts in this basket. They collect gifts given by people. And here are women on the side of the road. And they give them washing powder of some sort. And here's coffee. Normally during the water festival, people do good deeds. Some help their parents, others feed the monks, other people pour water over them. They do kind deeds. It's important for people to do kind gestures of some sort. Monks from different monasteries are invited. It is not just one monastery, but many. And people do good deeds during the water festival. Normally they give away uncooked rice. This is a religious flag. The important things for the monks are bought in advance. People collect money for it and buy stuff. And then we choose the happiest date, which is today. This day, you help others and give gifts. But you can see the most monks in Mandalay. There are many monasteries in Mandalay, and I came to observe their life. The rituals of Myanmar monks are interesting in themselves. One is called feeding. According to Buddhist principles, monks are allowed to eat only twice a day. Breakfast is shortly after sunrise and lunch before sunset. Then they can only drink water until it is dark. Every morning the monks walk around the monastery. They collect the gifts in a basket, and then they distribute them among the other members of the community. Collecting dowries is not perceived as a humiliation, and even the poorest Burmese consider it an honor to share a meal with a monk. The interesting thing is that the agape is celebrated in silence. People hardly communicate at all. You can't talk to the monks so as not to distract them. The agape is very fast. It lasts about 10 to 15 minutes. And if someone hasn't finished eating, they can take it back to their room in their cauldron and finish it there. Here behind the fence are some teenagers. They must be hoping that they'll have something left over from the monks' table. But the monks do not listen to them. And here, the child received something. It is someone's dessert. It's amazing. The children who are wearing white clothes have just come to the monastery. That's why they're dressed in white. Normally, children communicate, shout, play. But here, they are eating in silence, and they are leaving quickly. And here a monk is sharing rice with a girl who came here. It's quite interesting, because people, even poor people, donate money to the monks, who are collecting the money. The monks prepare food for themselves, have breakfast and lunch, but at the same time, mainly poor teenagers from nearby villages come here, from poor families, and ask for leftover food from the monks. Some even share their food with them. In Myanmar, it is believed that a boy will only become a real man if he becomes a monk. Children are sent to monasteries at the age of 5 to 15. The day on which a child enters the monastery is considered a great celebration. If the child stays in the monastery, he takes a vow of poverty and lives on the charity of other people. I decided to ask the monk, who, by the way, spoke good English, on the monastery's routine.
How many people here?
There are 1,285 people in the monastery.
And these boys, how old are they?
They start a beginner at 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old.
8, 9 years?
Yes,
They
and until for 16, 15 years old, 16, they will become a novice. When they get 15 or 60 years old, they will become a novice. Between 9 years old and 50 or 60 years old, before then, not pre-novice and novice. From at 20 years old, a monk. We have the ordained at 20 years old.
And what about girls? There is no girls, only boys?
Only boy, no girl. No girl, only boy. But there's a boy monasteries.
Okay,
If you want to see girl, you go to Nanarina monasteries.
so there's a special monastery
Yeah.
for the girls?
All boy monastery, monastery only boy. But if you want to see girl, you can go to a Nan monastery. All Nan, only Nan.
Okay, who is these people, these boys and girls? They're waiting for some...
Yeah, they came here to ask for our food. We were people to give a quarter around the monastery. So they came here about 10 o'clock. They asked they wait for to ask food. All the monks have finished lunch. They come here. They are giving away our remaining food every day.
So, and this was the lunch. So it's the last time you can eat today. So
It's the last meal I did. We have just 2 meals a day every day. Just
and the first meal at what time?
I think a quarter 6 o'clock, 5:30, a quarter 6 o'clock, and we only have a breakfast at a quarter 6 o'clock in the morning. This is our last meal I did. We have a 2 meal a day. Every monastery have just only 2 meals.
Have you ever tried alcohol?
No,
Never.
Never.
You never try. So you don't know what it is.
we can't try it.
But you can eat meat.
But we can choose. So we never eat beef in the monasteries. But sometimes fish, sometimes pork curry, sometimes fish, pork, mutton, but only beef.
Only beef.
We can't.
Okay, yeah. The only restriction is with the beef. Okay. And what about?
Different dish every day, not the same.
Okay. And what about cigarettes? Can you smoke?
No,
No.
smoking, no smoking. We're not allowed to smoke in the monastery. By the rules, according to Buddha rule, can't.
It's only in this monastery you can smoke, or all monasteries?
Every Buddhist monk can smoke.
No smoking, no alcohol.
No alcohol.
Absolutely not. We're not allowed to consume anything forbidden. Firstly, it poisons not only the body, but also the mind. It makes us stray from our goal, from what we've been following all our lives. It's not good. And then there's the smell. Well, those are basically the main reasons. Another extraordinary temple is the Kuthodaw Pagoda, a Buddhist stupa at the foot of the Mandalay Hill. It was built during the reign of King Mindon. The stupa itself is partially gold-plated. It is 57 meters high. And as you can see, because of its shape, I'm going to turn a little bit, it reminds people of the Shwedagon Pagoda, because it was created based on its image. But the most interesting thing is not the golden pagoda itself, but what is around it, because the complex includes the biggest book in the world. A total of 729 marble stelae containing the complete text of Tripitaka, which is Pali Canon of Theravada. Here you can see each of the white steles, and inside is a page where the text is carved. It is astonishing. Look at this beauty. Let's look in here too. And here's some more text. King Mindon founded Mandalay in 1859. He decided that he wants to create the biggest book about Buddhism in the world. And his idea was to make the biggest book out of marble. These stones are mined near Mandalay. It is 729 pages long. Each stupa stores one page. It is because in Buddhism, there are other books before. The pages were covered with solid gold. They're the most correct texts of Buddhism called Tripitaka. It's like the Bible for you. These are the most correct texts without any errors. A total of 24,000 monks checked it. It was 100% correct. All of text. That's why people, monks, who want to know about our religion, about Tripitaka, come here. They copy it, they read it, they dedicate themselves to it. The texts here are written in the Pali language. This is a very extraordinary temple. It is better to look at it from above. And you can see how huge the central pagoda is. And all around it, there are hundreds of small, same white stupas. When I was here 10 years ago, this central pagoda was under construction. I was allowed to go up. I took some amazing pictures from the height. Now, of course, it will not be possible to do this because there are no refurbishments. This is the central pagoda. Look how beautiful it is. It is golden. There are hundreds of other small white ones around it. Of course, the local architecture is an aesthetic delight. The only thing is that in the heat, the floor is very hot. It is now August, and although the floor is white marble, it is very hot. It is now 40 degrees, but it feels like it's more than that. And the floor is boiling. Even white marble is boiling in the sun. This is the Mahamuni Temple, and there is an interesting tradition here. Men can come up and stick a small piece of solid gold on the Buddha statue and make a wish. Women, on the other hand, are not allowed in. They can sit nearby, and they have a live stream of this gold sticking process on the TV. So this tradition has been going on for many years. And in 1884, when this pagoda burnt down, almost 100 kilos of gold were extracted. But that was more than 100 years ago. How much gold is there now? How much gold those hundreds, thousands of people have stuck on, that all come here? The time is not clear. But the Buddha looks quite plump. They say that a layer of gold reaches 15 centimeters, but no one knows exactly. Gold isn't evenly distributed. It is usually glued at the bottom. That's why his hand and feet are very close together. Interestingly, when they stick on a lot of gold, looks like seaweed, shells, and it doesn't make it thicker in a uniform manner, but it has an interesting shape. It appears to be covered with plants. They sell gold here. How much does it cost? 5 pieces cost 5,000 kyats. For 5,000, I will get 5 leaves of gold. Okay, is that all? Yep. I see there's not that much gold in there, but okay. Gold is all licensed and legal. It's real. I'm covered in gold more than the Buddha. But the temple itself is very beautiful. Everything is adorned with gold. The ceiling, walls, arches, everything is covered with solid gold. Behind me is one of the most beautiful monasteries in Myanmar, the Shwedagon Monastery. It is unique in that it is built of wood. The building is carved. There are many decorations. There are figurines, different spirits, dancers, and so on. It used to be covered with gold and decorated with a glass mosaic, and now neither the gold nor the mosaic remains. But the wood remained, and it seems to me that the building still looks better. The decoration is very varied. It is a very fine job. Just look at this beauty. A multi-story roof, an enormous quantity of these, carved decorations, a very fine piece of work. And the monastery looks fantastic. Shwenando Shwe means gold. Nando is palace. The monastery is called the Golden Palace. The capital city of Mandalay was founded by King Mindon in 1859. His son, named Adibo, asked for his father's permission to build a beautiful monastery for the monks at the foot of the Mandalay Hill. The father gave him permission and built a beautiful monastery. He received the wood, all of the wooden parts, with the help of his father. From his father's rooms, he got wood and created beautiful wood carvings. He also covered it with solid gold. Yes, I've seen. It's still there somewhere. You can see it here. Look, this is European, not ours. It is a tradition from countries. We made sculptures of wizards, good spirits, kind giants. All this is to protect against evil spirits. At one time, there was a royal palace here. The monastery is what remains of the royal palace. On the outskirts of Mandalay is the town of Amarapura. Once, it was also the capital of Myanmar. Now, there are only a few places left that are reminiscent of its former grandeur. Well, friends, I now invite you to see one of Mandalay's main attractions, the bridge. The longest wooden bridge is made of teak and is 1,200 meters long. It is interesting because the teak tree used for construction and these planks were originally in a palace. And then the palace was moved and they decided to build a bridge from the remaining planks. Now local people stroll around here, enjoying the view. And it's an interesting tourist attraction. Of course, nothing was left from the old wooden planks originally used for this bridge. They change from time to time. But some of these stakes, the walls on which it is built, seem to be really old because the wood is very tired. A whole tourist industry grew up around this bridge. People jump on and ride these trolleys. There are horses, cafes, souvenirs, beggars. Everything is spectacular. What is interesting is that many sources write that this bridge was assembled without a single nail. In general, the story of any object being built without nails, for any reason, is very popular for some reason. It is believed to be a building of special value if it was built without nails. In reality, if they built something without nails, it was for one reason only. There were no nails. So the spikeless compounds were more complicated and often not as robust as they are now. When you have nails, it makes no sense to refrain from using them. Obviously, this bridge in Mandalay, made of wood, is actually made with nails. It has so many nails that each board has a dozen. So don't believe these stories. Maybe at some point, when there were no nails, here in the necessary quantity, this bridge was being assembled without nails. But now everything is full of nails. Everything is full of nails. The main problem with this bridge is that it is dirty. Whatever people eat, they throw down here, without anyone cleaning up. Taking into account how much they earn from this bridge, they could come by at least once in a few days to pick up the rubbish on this bridge. But everyone is more interested in trading. Let's check out the local street food. This looks like an avocado or a green mango. Here are pineapples, pears, apples. These are crabs. They're just small. I can't quite see what's in them, but they still sell them. Yes, it's a mango, green mango. Oh, wow, owls. What are they for? What do you do with them? You can buy them with money, and then make wishes, and then they release them. They help to fulfill wishes. I mean, so they torture the birds so that you buy these owls and then release them? Poor little birds. Such is the bird business. Of course, it makes you want to buy them and save them, but this will lead to even more trapping and resale of these birds. In Mandalay, there is a market where you can buy extraordinary stuff. There are exotic fruits, shampoos and sachets, banana shoots, and traditional Myanmar snacks. What do we have here? It's a barbecue. Oh, barbecue. They fry it with oil there. There are beans, meat with rice. It is a traditional souvenir called a soap tree. Soap tree. We make shampoo out of soap tree. So this is shampoo. Yes, for New Year's you get it as a present for good luck. For good luck, I get it. It's a spectacular market. By the way, watermelons are now incredibly sweet. But I don't feel like buying a watermelon that is left in the heat half the day and brings flies. It is a banana tree shoot. You can make salads with it. It's very tasty. You can make salad with peanut butter and onion. It's lovely. You can also make salad with a green papaya and banana shoots. Here's a flatbread tortilla thing with beans, salt, and rice flour. Sometimes they also add egg. It tastes very good with quail eggs. It's a sweet snack. They taste great with tea or coffee. These all have number plates. Ah, it's a bike rickshaw. It is a bicycle with a trolley. Wow, it's for 2 people. I can't believe it. They all have a license from a certain district. This rickshaw can work only in this district. The last stop on my Myanmar trip had to be the 19th century Emperor's Palace. But the military organized New Year's festivities without letting outsiders in. You could still hear music behind the palace walls. Well, the military are there, and they said that today is their holiday. Right, Kokonai? They said that the military families are allowed to attend the New Year's party today. The others can only pass by the wall with envy and listen to the music. No party for us then. So you can only look at the wall and the palace. That's not fair. Military personnel and their relatives are allowed in, but we're not. Myanmar is for the military. This place looks like Kremlin, like walking along the Kremlin wall, only it's small, and there are these towers here too. It's time to say goodbye to Myanmar and draw conclusions from the journey. The first indicators that something is not right here appear at the airport. For example, there is no advertising at all. There are beautiful views of Myanmar, and it says that you can rent all these advertising spots. What's interesting is that at the airport, they promote beautiful railways. The Chinese want to build something here, but in reality, it is a company that does trade of some sort. There are no normal railways in Myanmar. Paduk is the national flower of Myanmar. It is used for decorations during the New Year festivities. I have seen the flowers not only at the airport, but also in hotels and restaurants. Myanmar people believe that Paduk brings love and romantic mood. It also prolongs youth. This is how in Myanmar the constant military coups and the desire to love are intertwined. I am now at the airport and can draw the conclusions of my trip to Myanmar. When I was planning my visit, I talked to a lot of people I knew here. I knew local journalists, people who in one way or another tried to talk about what is happening in Myanmar today, and they said I couldn't film here if I wanted to record non-tourist content. And it really is so, because the military junta is in control of the country today. It controls not only the order on the streets, but also information, among others, by scaring the local inhabitants. Because all kinds of people with whom I've had a chance to talk, if you only hint at talking about political matters, they close up. They leave, and you can tell they're afraid. And it's the same with all kinds of issues, where something negative may come up, and they may have problems with. They don't want to respond to that too. Later, in informal conversations, they explain to me that I will go away and they'll stay and will have problems. As for the military itself, it is worth nothing that they remain corrupt slackers. They casually take or even ask for bribes if you want to record something. They are completely harmless. And they take a bribe from you, and at the same time they say, please don't upload it anywhere. Don't upload videos of us. Don't tell anyone, because we'll get in trouble. They are going to arrest us, send us to court. What a horror that would be. We are military. We cannot take bribes. And they take them quietly, so the strictness of not being able to record anything is rewarded with being approached by a barefoot, dirty soldier with an old rusty machine gun, asking for 10 to 20,000 to let you record something without any problems. Yeah, I had promised not to film people. I will not show their faces. But some of the shots you have seen in this video were obtained this way. Let this Myanmar military junta take care of its subordinates. In general, the country is very militarized, and there is a huge number of military personnel, law enforcement, different police units. There are checkpoints on the roads. As you go along, they check your car. They look at who is there. They treat the Russians well. The interesting thing is that many servicemen who are now serving here, especially those in high positions, studied in Russia. I mean, even when you get to a checkpoint and they see that I'm from Russia, they speak to me in Russian because Many military personnel have studied in Russia before or have done so recently. Another interesting thing is that local political entities consult with the Russians and Belarusians. I spoke to a military officer who recently studied in Belarus. He was taught about various political issues there. As we know, Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko has vast experience of resolving opposition issues, protests, and all the rest. So he is a decent teacher, and you then understand better what the local junta does and will continue to do. When they hear that you are from Russia, they say that Russia is wonderful. Russia helps its military, giving them weapons, etc. They are friends with Russia, so you can go to Myanmar with a Russian passport without any problems. But please note that if you are afraid to return to Russia and have problems here, the local government will easily extradite you. What more can I say? The locals understand it all. They realize everything and are afraid to speak out. Protests under the arrival of the military junta were quite intense, but recently there have been none. And even the frightening news that emerges is not discussed in public. For example, just before I arrived here, on 11th April, the military junta's army in Myanmar bombed Pasigi village from the air, and according to locals, according to journalists, around 100 local villagers were killed, and more than 50 were injured. There are terrifying shots. It's not just something made up by journalists. The village was bombed, and there was a huge number of civilian casualties, mainly women and children. The military junta spokesman said that the village was seized by anti-government groups. According to him, the army carried out attacks precisely these groups. And this attack, when this village was destroyed, has become one of the deadliest attacks on civilians since the military seized power, in a coup d'etat on February 1st, 2021. And even this frightening event, imagine a plane dropping bombs on people. It is not discussed in the street at all. Everything is just fine. No one says anything, although many know. Although the internet is blocked here, Facebook is limited, Instagram and WhatsApp doesn't work, people still use the VPN to read the news and get this news from Facebook. But no one says anything out loud. This is what this country is like. Let's see what will happen next. And of course, Myanmar is a country of many contrasts. You see the luxury of palaces and terrifying misery. You see the spectacular temples, amazing history, and terrifying events taking place in socio-political life here. It is unclear what will become of the country in the future. I want to wish the people who live here peace and calm and prosperity, but unfortunately, at the moment, none of that is here, and soon there will be nothing good in Myanmar. It's time to go. Friends, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please put thumbs up, write a comment, and don't forget to share the video on Reddit, and send your friends a link on WhatsApp. Goodbye.